where like people are actually catching up or surpassing the pros.
For sure.
Oh yeah, and it was really great to see. And then especially, well, I would say for a dead game, but
Hmm.
at Mortal Kombat, but for the
Oh,
rest
dude.
of the fighting games too, they were mad because a lot of the pros have the get good mentality, but they don't want to be teachers.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, okay, here's what's funny. Here's what's funny. Low key. Yeah, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make this almost its own segment. Like, I called it that Street Fighter 6 is gonna be the best, and I had a conversation on how Street Fighter the reason why Street Fighter 6 is better, like, it's funny. Because as a content, like Street Fighter 6 blows out of the water MK and Tekken. But I will say Mortal Kombat's the standard. Tekken is doing better than last one. I think the little arcade thingy is better. But yeah, like none of them were just as hype on launch, like Street Fighter, you know, and even the numbers are kind of seeing. And Mortal Kombat Loki's kind of like dying hard. And you know what? A huge part of it is that the PC port is ass. Like right now, the modern FGC, if you're a pro player or hot, you fuck on PC. That's just the standard. Like if even Japan moved to PC, you know it's the standard. If you don't know, PC is not cheap in fucking Japan, bro. It is not. So you know you have to break an arm and a leg to do that shit. Mortal Kombat's struggling right now. I don't know what they're doing with the circuit. Like, dude, I have Mortal Kombat. I can't even play because it keeps crashing since the last update. And I wanted to do the pro circuit, but I can't because it's this, that, and like, you know, I can't even, I don't even care. I wanted to return it, but I can't because I spent more than 2 hours in it. It's like, wow, good job. So Mortal Kombat botched the shit. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm never buying Mortal Kombat again after that. It's such a bad experience. I'm like, I did this for free money. I can't even get that free money.
One of their big tournaments was in Brazil in a very small venue when they had 300 plus
So,
entrants, and they could only fit like I think a max of 150.
mhm.
I was like, well, how the hell are you supposed to do that? Yeah, just the whole NRS and like all that stuff. It's just like it was just poor planning and like
I mean, if we're being
for a
honest,
game.
it's not been handling it too well. Capcom has been better, but they botched it this time. Tekken is oddly doing better because they really fucked up last Tekken game. So I think it's not even just NetherRealm. I think they're just woefully unprepared for how actually big the FGC is as an esport when things fall into place correctly.
Believe that because I think Bandai Namco like learned
They learned the
from their
lesson.
mistakes.
Hmm.
Yeah, they learned their lesson, and then I think Capcom. I honestly think that Capcom is gonna do something right after Capcom Cup.
No, they will. No, they will.
Yeah,
I think the biggest problem why I'm not so hyped is because because they're mainly online events, and you already know how I feel about online. Even if it is rollback, it's not the same. And then one thing especially is like the hype. Like the hype just isn't there. You know, it's like fuck.
you have to like fight other people from like different countries or even different like even if you're in the US, if you're fighting somebody from like New York and like we're in smack dab in the middle of the fucking map. So it's just like how are those connections gonna be? It's not gonna be fun.
Like I said, rollback's been better, and I like that the we have like I said because I participated for the Mexico one, and I will say they were doing a decent job to make sure your connection wasn't trash. Like I think Capcom Cup did much better than I've seen any other tournament. That was one of my biggest complaints: is how do we actually regulate and check? And from my experience, some of the online tournaments are garbage at actually checking. I complained one time and I was not satisfied. But with this one, no, they were on point actually. They were very, very on point. I was very satisfied with it, you know. But even then, like I said, it's not optimal. Like the thing is, when you play online playing, we have to accept the fact that it's just not optimal, right? That's one of the reasons I actually am a big fan of Punk. I know he bitches and complains, but we need someone to bitch and complain. Like when he does, he's like always right, bro. Like oh, these monitors laggy. Like even if that's like homie, he's allowed to complain, man. Like especially when we have such a high standard. Like every time he bitches, bro, I'm like even a combo breaker, I'm like you know what, he's right. Like I heard he was bitching about the monitors. I'm like I felt it, but I didn't care because I wasn't there to compete. But he was absolutely fucking right. And at the end of the day, too, is I don't want to give shit to like locals, this and that. It's like I like low kick. Our guys, they put in extra effort. Like I was like the intermediary. I talked to dudes, what's up, and even I complain, and they actually listen. Like these guys will listen. Like people like Punk need to exist because guess what? The local people, like I know they kind of say, "Oh, please care to explain." Like Punk doesn't want to explain. He's pissed, right? But other people can do it for you, and he's right. Like people saying, "Oh, Punk's being nerd." Like no, dude, he's just being pissed, and he's like done. Like when you're pissed, this is what I don't understand about the FGC. Like, bro, when sometimes people are pissed, just they don't even talk. They don't even want to explain, dude. That's just how human beings are, and I know because I'm a dude. That's just how we are. We become little bitches. We're like women. Oh, I don't want to tell you because they're pissed. You really think someone who's pissed is gonna logically explain to you why shit's whack? You can go talk to other people who are more chill. And that's why I loved being the intermediary for LK. And guess what? They improved upon their shit. Their monitors are absolutely no lag or anything. And I've been very satisfied with their setups. Why? Because they actually sit down and care to listen. You know, but sometimes you need that intermediary. And Punk is that for the larger part of the FGC for people like me that love to bitch. But I feel like sometimes I can be too nice. right? Especially to like locals and whatever. But sometimes you gotta be a dick, and they'll listen to you, right? And then depending how they respond, that's how you know they're what's up. Like if they can respond kindly, then you know that is what's up, because that means that they're being professional. They don't let someone saying things get to them, right? People are like, oh, but you shouldn't be like, yeah, you shouldn't. But at the end of the day, is Punk insulting organizers? And if he does, he's allowed to feel that way, right? You know, that's me actually. Like, the only time is when he gets like oh to other players. I remember he had a weird out of pocket scenario when a pro player was telling him, oh, you know, just blocked, and he was just getting mad type. But that was uncalled for. But I mean, he's pissed, right? But when it comes to like looks and stuff like that, you're allowed to vent because we want to get better. It's about getting better.
That was Sonic Soul that he.
Thank you. Yeah, Sonic Soul. Thank you. Like I thought that was a bit out of pocket, but I could see why.
But like, what was it? But I'm not a personally big fan of Punk, but I see the point, because like we seen it in Street Fighter 5 when it was on that big screen where like we saw his input just not come out when he was playing Karin. I think it was I don't know if it was against Bonchan or something, or like one of the another top player, and like we seen that Karin just stood still. I'm like, no fucking
dude. I've never seen that for SF6. Like, dude, literally, I saw it for SF6, and that's something that I learned from Tekken because it had huge input problems. Like every modern fighting game has input, even Under Night. Like something about modern fighting games just have huge input problems. Something in my fighting game I will make sure will never fucking happen. You do DP, you buffer that shit, it will come out. But anyways, it's that something I noticed that's why I think Pro Street Fighter and Tekken are so watchable, even though it has bullshit. Even as a casual and normie, we all experience some form of bullshit, but we love watching it. Why? Because like if you know, like I said, you can't just be a pro. You have to be a pro and not be ignorant. Because I noticed there's two types of people: people who know about the bullshit and people who maybe know or don't know or choose to ignore it. And I've seen it with Tekken the hardest because they ignore the game's it's balanced, but you want to say Lars is low tier. Like you can't have both, right? Like make up your mind: either Lars is low tier or the game's balanced. You can't have both. That's bullshit, right? And no, Tekken is like, right. The thing is, it is and isn't balanced. Like it's like fighting games now are more balanced than ever. That's just an honest fact. But that doesn't prevent them from being low tiers, right? Or people that have flaws and shit. I'll get to that, by the way, what you said. And the main thing I was getting with the whole bullshit statement is that one of the reasons I really stopped liking watching fighting games at some point was because I experienced the bullshit firsthand. But once I got over there, I was like, whatever. And I noticed a key strength that a lot of pro players have. They can ignore the bullshit. When something happens, I remember a Korean player's like, sometimes you will lose a round. It's something stupid, whether it's a jab, it's your fault or something. You just got to get over it and then move on to the next round. I was like, you know what? That's right. And I would have that when the game, I would think it's being fair. But now that I know the games are just bullshit, I simply, I got hit by some bullshit. Like even in Tekken, I can't even get mad. And you know what? I'm doing better now in Tekken and Street Fighter. Even knowing that there's bullshit, I'm like, you know what? I guess I just can't be DP on Wake Up. Like, I'm still going to be pissed about it. But I'll still play and get better. And look at me now. I'm a triple fucking master rank. You know? Like, that's honestly a really important strategy I tell people. Is like, yeah, there 1000% is going to be bullshit. Even at low level, there might be something you think is bullshit, but it's not. But you got to realize, you will at some point you will always lose or get hit by some bullshit. Whether it's the game, you fucking up, or whatever. But the great strength of a good player is accepting it, moving on, so you don't let it affect you the next round. Straight up. And then you know what? And I guess in some sense that makes me. I think that's why high level play is enjoyable. Even Tekken, like, even though I hated it, it feels like when you watch pro players, the bullshit just kind of like melts away because they know it and they just ignore it. It does become harder to ignore when you actually compete in it, though. I'll say that much. That's why, like, when I stopped competing in Tekken, I found it more enjoyable again because it almost feels like the bullshit's gone. Then you go and play, and then you're like, oh, it's bullshit. The bullshit was always there. They just acknowledge it. And in Street Fighter 6, I remember I saw literally, bro, the only reason I think, who was it, Mena or someone, whoever won Evo, I saw exactly the second they won against Tokido because Tokido had a missed input, and I sat there and went, I am impressed this man isn't livid. Like, I was like, you know what? No, Tokido's a winner for not fucking just wanting to yeet that monitor. I saw it. I could feel the missed input, bro. And that's what I want. I know that's what led into this mini tangent, but I can answer your question about Lars now or later. I don't know if you want to bring something up from whatever I talked about, but that was my mini tangent.
Well, I want to, I like, what was it? I know you're not a big fan of the Tekken community because I want to hear like your opinion of like Lars and Tekken 8, because I think he's a fun character, but because I don't make tier lists. I just go like by like how much fun I'm having. Yeah, because like tier list to me, just like it always comes off at like, all right, if I'm picking the best characters, that means I have to work a little bit less to make my stuff happen. And then the way you should see lower tier characters is like I just have to work a little bit more, and like really focus on fundamentals to make that game plan happen.
Right. And here's my honest thoughts, honestly, as far as tier lists. Like, that's a good way to put it. I think what you said is the best way to put it.
Sorry, our conversation ended abruptly. I fell asleep.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, we're
still there?
actually we're in the middle
Oh,
of a podcast now, Yugimon, basically. But yeah,
oh.
no, don't worry about it, Yugimon. But my main thing is that like the best way to go about it is how our boy Sinister Jazz, our one hand puts it. Just pick whoever to you is the funnest, right? Don't pick I mean, but that's honestly like no one's gonna pick a character they don't like. But the thing about tier lists is that it's as they say, they really don't matter. At the end of the day, they really don't matter. They, in my opinion, they only matter in two aspects. Like obviously, the main one being is like if you're pro. And even then, because modern fighting games, it comes down to this. As long as you just don't pick a low tier, you're fucking fine, honestly. As long as what matters way more, matchup tier list. That matters way more.
Yes,
Why? Because I'm using a
way
top
more.
tier. Guile and Luke. Guile 100% is one of the most underrated good characters in it. Because you see it, he's always at the top, but like no one talks about him because everyone's focused on JP and Ken. And Luke, I think Luke is not as good as people say he is. But why do people ignore Guile? And this can matter a lot. Same with Zangief, why he wasn't so violent, and even also because Guile has a bad matchup against JP. You're gonna see JP a lot. That's why, like, yeah, it's good to pick a top tier, but what if the top tier just you?
Ujamundeon.
You know?
In FGC tier lists matter say less compared to something like a card game.
Will complement how you like to play.
Well,
That is like so important to like fighting games. It's like this is not just like a journey of you like picking and choosing just whatever. It's a journey of like you getting stronger with something that like suits the way you want.
And that's why to me it matters way more that you just don't pick a low tier. Like I could see mid tiers winning, right? Or even like someone who has potential. I can never sit here and see I'm gonna see Lilia top 8, or oh, I'm gonna see fucking Panda, or I mean Panda they got lucky, right? Like Panda got lucky just so he's uploaded Tekken is, but our point still stands at we don't see no lucky Chloe or this or that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like to me, like I was telling people like pick whoever you want as long as it's not a low tier. Low tier characters suck generally because they have like generally like sometimes no gameplay, whatever, like or their game plan is too weak or simple. So you have to truly play the game or some other game that's not viable. Or two, they have such a bad matchup spread. And lastly, they just can't play the game good. And Lily's in a situation where she can't play the game correctly. That's her biggest weakness. Like she gets fucked over by the system mechanics. Impact fucks you over. Parry fucks you over. Rush fucks you over. Reversal fucks you over.
Ujamundeon.
You know?
They are low tier because they were made unwell on purpose.
Sometimes. Oh, go ahead, sorry. Hit chat.
Oh, it's all good. No, the crazy thing is that like Lily's one of the few characters that can actually regenerate her heat gauge. Yeah, if you do her little sidestep thing where she like twirls in the air, that
I think I've seen Kazuya refill it a bit, but that could have been just the story mode stuff. It's hard to tell what's what, you know, where's where kind of shit.
yeah, it's like each character has like a different way of using the heat gauge, but I will give you that though. Like my rule of thumb is that like don't pick anything below a B tier.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. And but if you're playing for fun, doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter, bro.
It doesn't matter if you're playing casual. Have fun with the game. That's the most best thing you can ever do. Like just have fun. I like the casuals because like they enjoy the game for what it is,
right?
And it's just like it's so fun.
And if anything, guys, it's actually better to start with the worst character because you have to actually learn and fight more with the game than with anybody else. So believe it or not, I actually
fundamentals.
Stick with them. You have to actually learn the game properly. You can't get away with as much bullshit. Well, the funny thing is it depends. Sometimes it could be like Honda, for example. Like we're talking SF5 Honda or some bullshit where they're just like scrub killers, whatever. And then later on they're bad, right? Like the example is like Zangief. Like he's a low tier where it's like you're 100%ing play. And again, you're learning how to play. Like he's oddly an exception. But the main thing, this is the other time where I think a tier list levels.
I'm finna just start being a casual because I'm done with these bitches on the game.
No, yeah, it's the best thing you could do, Yu-Gi-Oh! That's where I'm at, right? That's why I'm enjoying Tekken. But the other tier list to me, sorry if I dragged on everybody, but the second thing I was trying to get at is that the other tier list that matters is for low-level players, and I think it's a difficulty tier list. I think that matters a lot more. It's not, oh, is this character good or not? Homie, you barely know how to play the game, and that's why, this is why we say, oh, pick like a Shoto, right? I think picking a Shoto is a good advice. People, oh, no, pick who you like. There's two. I even say pick who you like. Then after that, once you get a feel for a game or something and you really want to sit down and learn, pick a Shoto. To me, if you can't even like a Shoto of a fighting game, then maybe that fighting game just isn't for you or fighting games aren't for you. Everyone should be able to use a toasty white bread insert. Like that's kind of the point. It's inoffensive. Like you don't have to like it, but you can stand this person for hours on end. That's why, like I said, pro player character fit him, you know, Udon or whatever, the Muay Thai dude, but he couldn't stand him because his voice is annoying. If someone told me to pick Lily, I would refuse.
Oh, is good advice because almost every fighting game has one.
That's the other reason too. Thank you, Yugemon. Thanks for adding to that. And that's the other reason why they're very ubiquitous and they know exactly how to play. And more importantly, you could play how you want, and that's how you could discover your playing style more. Maybe you like a character, you are forced to play in a way you're not comfortable. Then you pick a Shoto and you're like, oh my god, I like this character way more. And then you're like, oh, you like doing talks. Here's a character who has like better full distance screen moves. Boom.
I've got you.
And that's why I recommend like pick who you want. It's most smart. Pick who you think looks cool, even if they're hard. I'm not gonna lie. Even if they're hard, but the difficulty tier list at least does two things. It makes you realize that you are definitely not getting the hang of the character, and you're going to lose a lot. But be proud of the little things you do learn. That's what it really gets you, and that's a character you're playing 1000% front and you're enjoying. But it is a character that you should know that you are not hot shit. Like, it is a good thing to establish that when you're playing this character. For example, like Zato players or even Kazuya's. Like, everyone, like Kazuya, I think is easier. I think Kazuya is the exception to that rule. He's such an easy character to learn, hard as fuck to master. Zato's hard to play and hard to master straight up. I still enjoy him. Other people still enjoy him. But all of us know we ain't shit. Like, we look at just Zato from, like, X and Core Rev or what, and we're like, holy shit, this man's cooking. Like, you just look and go, I'm never being that good. And I think that's another good thing, is that it can really set expectations if you happen to like a really difficult character. Or it can even inspire you more. I've seen some people, like, oddly, I've seen the puppet character people seem to get more inspired the harder the character is, right? It all depends. It either sets your expectations, like it could get rid of your ego, or it inspires you. So that's why, again, number one is pick who you think looks cool. Even if they're difficult, doesn't matter, but the difficulty tier list is there so you know if they're hard or not. So then you don't beat yourself up thinking that you're trash. In reality, you're using a really hard fucking character. You know? Because everyone should have goals to achieve. That's the most satisfying thing about fighting games to me. And Shotos 100% are the easiest characters to gauge your progress.
It inspired me even though I'm not usually a puppet character.
Like, that's one thing I had against Tekken that I never liked. The Mishimas are like the main fucking people that you always see. True. But the problem is like there's some of the harder characters to learn. It's like if someone ever asks me like who's like the best beginner characters for Tekken, my stance never changes. It's Shaheen.
But Shaheen's not bad.
Shaheen is like really easy to pick up. Law, Paul.
True. Yep.
And
Lars in T6, I feel like he's gotten less and less easy over the years. The whole Lars thing.
King Na JK.
Stance characters are something different that you have to tackle on. Yeah, and then what would be the I just had a fourth one.
Literal Shoto for 6 because he explained Bound so fucking well, but now that Bound's gone, his role is kind of just gone, you know. In 7 he was okay. Dude, in Tekken 8 I don't recommend Lars as a character. He's complicated now.
Brian ISNT2 hard.
King, because
King's a very fun character. Why? Like,
yeah.
And the thing about Tekken is it's such a weird game. Like it doesn't have a true traditional Shoto. The closest literally you have is literally Paul, Lars, Kazuya. They're the most Shoto. Everybody else, it's like whatever. But the thing about Tekken is that it's not even a hard game. I've seen it in Giuna's new video, and Tekken's the kind of game where you spend a lot of time. It's strings, this and that early on, and you're not really playing Tekken in a sense. So honestly, pick whoever you want as long as they're not a stance character. Like, honestly, long story short. And there are some characters who are easier than others. And it, again, same with, like, Tekken's just weird. That's why I feel like 3D fighters are not really fighting games. Not that they don't require skill, but I don't think they're in the same category as, like, a 2D fighter. They're just two completely different games. Like, one is far more read and time intensive, and one's more execution and even reaction heavy, debatably, depending on what subgenre of the 2D fighter you're playing. Like, I honestly think there's too much big of a gap in differences between 2D and 3D fighters that they shouldn't be. Almost like a evolution chart, right? Like, people say, like, humans, monkeys. Like, no, we're apes. There's a difference. Apes are gorillas, chimpanzees, us, and bonobos. And monkeys are a completely different tablet. But because we're close enough,
separate the categories at this point.
There's subgenres, right, Yugimon? Like, we've been said that. But the thing is, a 2D anime fighter has a lot more in common with Street Fighter. Like, our footsies, our fundamentals, our backdashing. There's even rules like, oh, does this have an invincible backdash? Oh, the way we block is down back. 3D fighters, hell fucking no. Not even close, bro.
Oh, not 3D fighters, if you're a master of movement, you're already like ahead of the curve. Because you have that 3D fighting planning, and if you know your matchups and you like know which side characters are weak against, yeah you can just easily get that easy whiff punish, or just a launch punish, and it's just like that's basically what all Tekken is. Like, you're looking for the launch, or you're looking for a whiff,
right? With some lows and hoping that a low parry or block it. But yeah, see, and that's the thing.
yeah.
The neutral is way different in 3D than in the only thing 2D fighters and 3D fighters, in my opinion, have an even in common.
Stepping away from the traditional 2D controls though with their block and shit, so where do they fit?
Look, Creepy Litten's joining us. How's it going? We actually happen to be in the middle of a
Marlimmer.
semi-podcast, sort of.
Marlimmer.
Good.
Marlimmer. Ken.
To catch up to speed, if anything, Jazz, we're kind of Cliff's notes what we did a bit, so just so we can get Litten up to speed, so you can know.
The whole topic was that we were just talking about like fighting games, like Tekken and like tier list and like what beginners should be like really focused on.
Like starting off, like first picking up a fighting game.
Yeah, like first picking up.
Right now, what were we on? Oh, I forgot what we just finished what I just about lulz.
But yeah,
2D and 3D.
They're not even the same thing. Like I said,
3D
fighters are monkeys, 2D fighters are chimpanzees. Like we have things in common, and I want to say because people think, oh, you're saying like, no, 3D fighters are like in the general sense of like arcade fighting game, like Tekken has more in common with Street Fighter than fucking Smash or Naruto. I want to get that like it's its own subcore. Like obviously, like we're mammalians, right? Like we're technically kind of related to rats, but no one thinks monkeys and rats are anywhere near close. Like right, Smash is a bunch of rats. Naruto's like possums, they're closer to each other because they're super simple. And then you got fucking 3D and 2D fighters way over fucking here, more advanced creatures, right? But I do think that in general, 3D fighters require less skill. Not an offense, but here's the reason why. Because people say, oh, what about Kazuya, this and that. That's the exception, not the norm. Having execution is the norm in a fighting game. Like, you have to spend a year to actually learn how to get good at doing a Hadouken, whereas in Tekken, you're spending a year not to get good. You're spending a year to learn moves.
I mean, it's like how we share a bunch of DNA with a banana.
Yes, exactly.
My main thing for anybody starting off with a fighting game, don't play an anime fighter to start. Because that will ruin everything.
That is true.
You will not be able to learn any traditional fighter.
Well, it's funny because I'd still say that playing an anime fighter is still better than picking up a 3D fighter in a sense. Like you'll have better footsies with a 3D fighter for sure. I'll say that. But the reason, the thing is that's hard to say because anime fighters are just so much more fun. Like I'm sorry, they just are, and even as a spectator, they're way more fun to watch because colors go brr. But no, he's right. Like if you want to genuinely get good at fighting, do not start with 2D fighters because they just ruin you. Or maybe anime fighter. They're so fast. They're so fun. I mean, good example. Look at Clockwork. Clockwork took like 4 years to stop sucking at traditional fighters. Because he's too used to moves being instant or having bullshit invulnerability and all this stuff. Because he tries to use Kimberly. Oh, her teleport's too slow. This is like, dude, people bitch that it's too fast.
The combos in anime fighters are longer.
I stopped playing Street Fighter since 4 for a while. I've been playing primarily anime fighters. I cannot go back to Street Fighter.
See, yeah.
It's way too fucking slow. I cannot play that shit anymore.
Man, 6 a dang.
Well, I sat down, tried playing that for like 3-4 hours. I just couldn't get into it.
And you know what? Here's something.
It just doesn't feel the same.
Honestly, the other thing that matters more, that this is a really kind of tangent, is that I can't stress this enough. The other thing that matters the most, 100% about fighting games, is that they're about playing against people, not even so much or whatever. You can still play offline. A good fighting game.
Mortal Kombat now is way less like a traditional fighter, so I don't know where they fall.
Yugiman says Mortal Kombat's less of a tradition. It's still like a footsie fighter, like Street Fighter. But to me, Mortal Kombat's always been in that gray zone where it's barely a fighting game. It's like the Call of Duty of shooters. It's not a very high skill ceiling esport. It's like the gateway drug to get into better stuff. Like everyone knows Unreal Tournament, Halo, and Counter-Strike and Gears are much harder shooters than COD, but COD's like a good entry point, and it's really popular. Mortal Kombat is literally that to the FGC. Straight up 100%.
Yeah.
In Japan, it's not even considered a fighting game. That's how low the execute, to the fact that it doesn't have quarter circles and has no execution, and its meta is immaculately weak, is in Japan they don't even consider it a fighting game. I think it is because it has enough of the qualities of fighting games that I think it passes. I just think it's a very low entry fighting game. That's my thoughts on that, Yugi-man.
Like, truth be told, Mortal Kombat just teaches you everything you will need for traditional.
Yeah, exactly. But
you'll learn everything.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So will Japan not consider Project L to be a fighting game?
Over again. You pick up Tekken coming from something like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, it's gonna feel completely different.
Right.
Yeah. So carry you a little. If you play footsies and Street Fighter a little, it can carry you a little bit in the beginning.
All right.
But trying to advance after that, it's gonna feel. It's almost completely different.
Seeing my two homies, Sinister and Creepy, I haven't talked to you guys in a minute. I was like, man, these are the two dudes I wanted to do a podcast with. Like, they're great. Especially, these two, I always have great conversations. Plus, you guys like hearing me rant, right, you guys? Like, hear me, bitch.
Yeah, I've been on the internet at all recently, mostly because I've gotten back to going outside.
I mean, I haven't hit you guys up too much. I've been busy. I mean, I told Janister Jizz, I guess, mini update too. Did I tell you I'm putting more effort in the fighting game I've talked about making, right? I've told you about it, right, Litten?
Yeah.
I've told you a bit of the lore as well, no?
Ujimundeo.
You're fine. I know I've gone hard, but I switched to Unreal Engine, by the way, and I've been making huge progress. So long story short, I'm gonna upload a video later on of what I'm doing. I'll show it to you. I think you'll like the progress I've been making. Hopefully you'll like the music too. I found some good shit. What I want to get is 100% what matters the most. Is, definitely having people to play. Like I've heard it before, right? Like even just having like a co-partner. But man, I've never had that problem because I could even enjoy fighting games offline. Like to me, I think a good fighting game, like a look at Third Strike or even Tekken 6, still my favorite fighting games. I could play them offline. I don't need online. Right? Like a God tier fighting game doesn't even need online. If it has MVC3, I fucking love MVC3. I can't play it online because there's only sweats who one touch you. I play with my friends. Like that's what got me into fighting games. Me MVC3. I love the offline, amazing. Played it for hours, and I had my homie Edgar. We ran that shit, and that's why I'm into fighting games now. And this is what when it clicked me, I re-experienced that again because a fighting game that I was like, okay, it's fine, whatever, and I never really got that into, and I have twice, is Dragon Ball FighterZ. And I like BB Tag more still, even. But I was watching this one streamer, he was playing alone, he was trying to play DNF, and I did too. And I forgot what happened, I think I had to re-download it or something. While we were waiting, I was like, oh, let's play some Dragon Ball, because I knew I was going to clap him in DNF, because I'm actually pretty good at it. I could one-touch in it. You know, there you go. I'm basically an NBC player. That's why I didn't choose Lost Warrior and whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. Because I like to scout Twitch to see people who deserve a good viewer or shit, right? I always like to put lowest viewers and see, okay, who has a good layout? I'll go watch them and they meet they're putting effort in their layout. And then I'll talk to them and go, you know what? Boom, and I'll follow them. That's how I like to follow small streamers, right? And we were playing Dragon Ball and I was just having fun. Like, it was just genuinely fun. Like, I'm to the point where I cannot play a fighting game just casually. I'm just too much of a fucking sweat. Like, unless I am already invested, like BB Tag's a good example, right? I love playing with lower level players because to me, that's like, oh, I'm getting to play this, right? But Dragon Ball, I played with some streamers and we were casually. It was okay, right? No, whatever. It's like a party thing. But I just couldn't get that invested into it. You know, and they loved it, right? Because it was fun and it's Dragon Ball. But to me, I'm not attached to the IP like that. If anything, I prefer Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi. But having to slowly learn how to get better at Dragon Ball while having someone like, they were way better than me, but they were being moderate. They were holding themselves back and they would do so. And the cool thing is they didn't have to hold back too much. Like, it was actually like the perfect scenario for me because he clearly is good at the game. But even from his experience and everything, this is what sucks about me, right? I'm in an immaculately unique position. Everybody does too, whether they have friends that absolutely suck. Like, they suck, but they at least know how to play, and there's very few people. You know, it depends, right? It depends how dead the game is, what its scene is. Like MBC3, everyone just sweats, and that's it. Under Night is either people who are low or high, and that's most funny because very few people are intermediate, right? Are super low and have bad internet, like they suck ass. And people who are at the low levels have bad internet. And the only people who have good are like maybe some intermediates and high levels. So they have to, you know, and maybe they have to have someone that they can talk to, right? And then intermediate, like I suck. My footsies and fundamentals and understanding of fighting games is godlike. There is no understating that shit. I mean, Jizz and Creepylin, you guys can be a testament. Am I not godlike?
More likely sweats are on at that point.
Right? Yeah. And when you've been playing for a long ass time, it's just hard to be bad. Exactly. It's just hard to turn it off.
Like, I mean, heck, you guys see the meme in Squad Vibing? Where I'm playing Avatar Battle, like literally, I'm level 34 and I face level 100 people, and I'm like, oh, call an ambulance. But not for me, because I got 3 fucking master rank characters. Is that not a testament of just how ungodly good I've gotten at fighting games? Do you guys not think that meme is funny? What are you guys' thoughts on the meme on Squad Vibing? Do you guys see with the... Like, is that not encapsulate when people run into me? Like, a good example, like, let's say Under Night. And they're like, well, let's ignore that they're actually good. But let's say someone who's been playing Under Night, right? Let's say they're a noob, right? But they have like 100 hours and they learn some stuff. And then they run into me. I have no rank or anything. Oh, I could beat this guy. Like, they probably know the game and characters more than me. But their footsies and fundamentals does not touch me. Or how to handle pressure. And that's what sucks. Like, I need legit, like, intermediate people to play against. And in a very unique way. Like, I can't have them know too much where I can't play the game. But I can't have them suck too hard at fundamentals where I'm not engaging. And this dude was at that perfect medium. Like, he's definitely like mid-level when it comes to footsies and fundamentals. Dragon Ball, he's way better, but he actually knows how to play people that are weaker than him. But he actually stepped it up. Every time he got a match, he was saying like, yo, this guy keeps learning shit. And even he's like, I know you don't play Dragon Ball and you say you don't, like, because I talked to him a bit. And he's like, dude, but you are improving really fast. And it's like, oh, did I mention I got like 3 master ranks? It's like, okay, you know what? That makes sense now. Because one of the key things about a good player is adapting, right? And that's what sucks, right? Like, it's not going to be that hard for me to catch up to you, you know, if I actually get to play the game. And I want to play the game. That's at the end of the day, I just want to play the game. And basically, long story short is, you have to have the right conditions, like, have just the right person or people to play with. the game becomes 10 times more fun. Like now, I actually, because of that, I want to play Dragon Ball more. And before I never cared. I just thought, this is the party game and have the high side. But after playing with him, it's like, holy shit, this is a lot more fun. And guess what? Because we're not playing the
GG was using his Zenkai boost.
Right? Fighting games are the funnest at mid-level. Like, straight up. Like that's why when I play other people, I will never use my best character because I just know how to use them too well. Where I'm playing the game at its highest level, and it's like, that's no fun. Even I don't think it's fun. Because most fighting games now, it's like, launch, near touch of death, or touch of death, good Okazemi, GG, shake my hand. And who's gonna deal with that shit? They don't even know how to play. So, that's what I did in Tekken. Let me lose characters I don't even play. Let me go use my mediocre ass Kazuya. And then I'll have fun because my goal is not, let me beat him. No, how many Electro Wing Godfist can I get in this round? That's how I have fun now. Like, I just pick weaker characters and I get better with them. And then other people, they get that. Because they're gonna beat me. Because I'm playing like ass. I'm not trying to play the game. I'm too focused trying to do Godfist. And I'm gonna get hit 10 times trying to do it. And it's fun for both of us. People need to find a way to help improve themselves. And I did it back in Street Fighter 4. I'm like, my goal was to anti-air my friends every single time to teach them a lesson to not jump and then get my anti-air game on point. Because back then I remember it was very weak. And guess what? To this day, you could talk to Clockwork. He's like, yeah, no, thanks to Greatest, I learned that jumping is a bad idea. No, I ingrained in their brain, don't jump. Because one of them was a Mortal Kombat player. And in here he jumped, and we all know Mortal Kombat players have shit anti-airs. And he's like, no, you can jump, bro. When he heard Hugo go, back, breaker, 10 times inside his health, just delete. To this day, bro, he still doesn't play fighting games like that. But he will tell you, he's like, dude, don't jump. Like, he'll tell you with, like, the face of a man who's seen, like, he has PTSD from Vietnam, like, don't jump. So I can't help but say that, this isn't like, to you, Litten, if we did Meme Team, how much money you want to bet? Me, you, Hill, and all the boys, and even Clockwork, we're playing SF6, and it was a Meme Team episode. How much money you bet you would enjoy Street Fighter 6 more? How much money you would bet that you would enjoy it way more? Exactly.
Again, I just really can't get into the game right now. If I would get some amount of people to play the game with, I can tolerate it. I can go for any fighting game.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing.
Betting the people, even fighting games you hate, you will tolerate, and you will have fun on it.
There's a difference between tolerating. Well, I mean, you can enjoy and tolerate, right? No, exactly. So you get it, but like I said, I think anime players would enjoy Street Fighter 6 more than anything. But again, your point still does stand that like playing anime fighters can ruin you. It's just that to me, I feel like anyone wants to be decent. It's good to get outside your comfort and get decent. And like, once you get comfortable with a game, then you'll be better. Like to me, I feel like we played enough, let's say Meme Team episodes or whatever, and you had an incentive to get paid for it. Let's say my YouTube channel was big. Like then you would just actually probably maybe play Street Fighter a bit and then enjoy the moments of being MLG and then the footsies. And then your footsies would carry over to BB Tag, for example. But you would still obviously prefer anime fighters. Like, hey, I do, and so does Clockwork. Like Clockwork's gotten so much better. Why? Because I always play it. And even now, he's finally hopping on rank. Like, he's a good example. Like, Clockwork is just like... And you know what? He's gotten so used to Street Fighter that he went and picked the grappler. Because he can't stand grapplers. They're too slow. But I even tell him, like, dude, you run up, throw like you're a Kai player. Like, I'm surprised you're not a grappler. And he said, you know what? And he took my advice. And because he actually knows how to play fundamentals now and he knows the mechanics of 6, he knows how to get in position for command grabs. And he's good at reading. And guess what? He was clapping all the way to silver with Geef. And now he started having fun. Because he got used to the game. And he's still like, he's still Cammy. Like, Cammy's still his girl, right? But he had fun with a character he would normally never fucking pick. And I think that's what matters. Having the right people to play with matters more. Because if you're not even having enough fun in the game, you don't have people to play with.
Comfortable pulling out instead of rubber joking.
Exactly. There's all more down.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I stress you guys is that playing with friends or just finding people online to play with. And the FGC is one of the nicer communities in the world. My thing is just don't get too involved. From my experience in locals for Tekken, like they are cancer. Like Litten knows, Jizz mentioned it before. They're really toxic. I don't like a good number of them, but there are very, very cool and good people in the Tekken community for sure. And they tend to be a lot of the higher players and some of the super low level players. And they're just like mad chill. But anything else, guys? I know I went on that tangent as well. Any guys you might want to bring up?
Manu Geo can get real toxic.
There's really nothing more to add.
Jizz, anything you wanted to continue off of what I was saying? You're the one actually having all the good questions, like low-key. You're making me go off and stuff you brought up. Because we were talking about tier lists and starting off, yada yada. But sorry to cut you off.
Oh, it's all good. What was it? No, you nailed everything. The whole point was to have fun. Have fun.
And okay, so I'll answer the question you asked earlier. Also, Litten, do you have Tekken 8 or no? I'm curious.
I was thinking about buying it too.
Yeah, the PC version's being kind of cooked. And we talked about too that right now for modern fighting games are just kind of shit. To me, they're in the silver age, not the gold age. But I'll get into that a bit later, maybe. But Sinister Jizz over here asked what my thoughts on Lars are, and here's what my thoughts on Lars are. Lars is almost not the same character. Like ever since Tekken 6, they've been trying to change the character to be a bit of a rushdown character over a fundamental footsie Zunga character, and I don't like that change. And the other thing Here's the thing, Lars is super fun. He is the sickest in Tekken 8. Like, his silent entry is crack fucking cocaine. Like, slowly we saw it in 7. Like, oh, okay, he had like 2 new moves, whatever. They got rid of his old stuff. And it's the thing I can't hate. Like, the thing about Lars right now is that here's how I fundamentally feel with him as a competitive player. This Lars I can't main. They just changed too much of him. He's not the same character. His fucking poking game is trash. His Unga factor is immaculately gone. You cannot challenge anybody, and that's the whole thing I loved about Lars. Like, I realized that's after playing enough, the characters like Enkidu was the final nail in the hammer, but like Azrael, Claudio, what do these characters have in common? They have a move that just says fuck you and everything around you. And to the point where if we trade, I still win. I love that character trading characters. And you guys can agree, all the characters I've ever played, Potemkin, Soul, fucking Urian, aren't those Unga-ass fucking characters? Would you guys not agree?
Yeah.
I need Unga
Most
characters.
where you just go able to go in, press buttons.
But I like having execution too. Like, it's not just super brain dead. Again, look, Urian's the big example. One of the most complicated combos in fighting game history, and he's Unga as shit. Like, I like characters that have a simple game plan but hard to execute. That's why I realize I've been having a lot of fun with Kazuya, and I think Kazuya fits me even more than Lars for this one. That's why I'm having so much fun. That's why, like I said, I can never really fuck with someone like Zato. Like, I could use characters that are semi-complicated, like puppet characters or whatever. Even Guile is a semi. He's like definitely pretty execution heavy, but he's like super simple game plan. But how to execute combos is complicated. I like complexity in combos and maybe Okazumi whatever, but just to engage in neutrals, fuck no. Like, I like some good old fashioned footsies with a neutral skipping tool here and there, and then with just buttons like if we trade, my button go burr. Like, that's the kind of character I like. You know, Enkidu really helped me establish that. If I press heavy and you press heavy, homie, you're gonna be stuck in block stun for 30 extra frames compared to me, because my character has more defense than you, and my character's Unga as fuck. You know? Like, that's why I picked, like, the peak of humanity. You know, this chatted up fucking Greek statue motherfucker. Like, you look at the dude, if you punch him, he ain't gonna hit it. But if he hits you, oh. So right now as a character, Lars just does not fit. He's too much of a rushdown character. I can fuck with rushdown characters, right? Like, I could do it like Seth. I switched to Seth and Big B tag. But the problem in Tekken is rushdown characters are just too risky. And anyone who knows me, I don't like risky game plans. That's why I can't main grapplers. Like I said, I'm talented with grapplers and rushdown characters. One has grapple stuff I'm talented at, and one has the speed I like. Why don't I main either is because the weakness they have is too annoying for me. The biggest weakness rushdown and grapplers have is they take too much fucking risk. I am way too fucking calculated to take risk. That is one key thing people will realize about me. I am way too fucking calculated. I don't like fucking taking risk. I like taking safe shit.
Well, I saw you when you were playing BB Tag. I remember those days where you were like, "Hey Johnny, you want to see some shit?" And you would pick Iron Tager and Waldstein, and you would start bopping people.
Dude,
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I like how that reminded you. I mean, heck, dude, you can ask Litten, bro. Litten, how many times you been getting command grab on my ass?
Too fucking many.
I'm an asshole. That's how you know, because you heard that evil ass laugh. Nothing's more fun than command grabbing someone in an anime fighter, because, bro, that shit's so hard because no one stands the fuck still in those games, bro. And that's the other thing. That's why another thing. Grapplers are never top tier in like anime fighters or fucking MVC, because everyone's too fucking fast. How the fuck are you supposed to grab them if they're all over the goddamn screen?
Especially when you're fighting against a Hazama that stays up in the upright corner the whole game.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, bro. I played Blaze Blue. What was it? Any of them. and you go online and you're going against a Hazama, you're gonna see like up screen. That's all you're gonna see. And I'm just like, this is so annoying, man.
But yeah,
this is so annoying.
Pocket rushdown and pocket grapplers. As talented as I am with both of them, I wish I could have the speed of a rushdown with the damage of like a grappler and the execution of like command grabs. That's why, like, to me, my favorite characters for Melty Blood, the rip-off Enkidu dude, he's literally perfect. He's literally, I tell people, I just want a Shota with a command grab and set play. That's literally all I want. And maybe a projectile like Gil. That's why I like Gil. I don't